The STEM Society.
What's poppin', people? My name is Cole Jackson. This is the STEM Society. Welcome back. Two things on the docket this week. JID goes on a Twitter rant, and he don't have anything nice to say about the BET Awards. I can tell you that much. He also goes in on J. Cole as well. We'll cover that story later on in the video. I want to start off by digging into these numbers, these fraudulent numbers from Spotify and Drake's newest album, Iceman. So on Friday, Spotify decided to celebrate a big streaming day for Drake with his newest release, Iceman, and they had a whole big tweet about it. Here's what they said. On May 15th, Iceman became Spotify's most streamed album of 2026 in a single day. And Drake became the most streamed artist in a single day in 2026 so far. So it's great. A corporation celebrating Drake and his accomplishments, letting everybody know that he's having one of the biggest streaming days out there. Now, there was another announcement saying that Make Them Pay was the highest streaming song of the year in 2026 also. And then the very next day, we get a correction in that tweet. Here's what Spotify had to say about the numbers and what they announced. The initial streams review process was completed manually, resulting in streams from two different album tracks being combined. Drake continues to hold the record for the most streamed artist and album in a single day in 2026. We apologize for the error and have implemented updated review procedures to prevent similar issues in the future. So after Spotify corrects themselves, the first thing I see is people hating on Drake. It's crazy. The first reply that I seen was, "Thanks for letting us know what we always knew. The numbers have always been fraudulent." Y'all are brutal out here. I've seen people come up with theories of Spotify padded the numbers to keep this man from failing, all the way until Spotify padded the numbers to beat Kendrick Lamar. There's a lot of theories out here. And y'all are crazy. Y'all are nuts. That's just straight up hating on this man. Do I believe the numbers are real? Yes, I believe the numbers are real. I believe the numbers are real because I've seen the man's history. I've watched him go through his whole career. He's had great first weeks no matter what. Now, there's a big debate online right now on whether Iceman is good or not. You either love this album or you hate it. There's no in between. And I hate the fact that we live in a society where the numbers are supposed to determine if an album is good or not. I've always lived by the motto that quantity does not equal quality, right? I've always been able to go by what my ears say. If my ears like it, if it's something that I'm like bobbing my head to, maybe it's good. But if I have to sit back and be like, yeah, no bueno, that pretty much means it's bad. I've never had numbers determine whether or not I like an album or not. I wish more people would live that way. It's ridiculous, the shit that we set up in our mind to make us believe something is good or not. So I wanted to pull back the curtain just a little bit. So I did a little bit of poor man's research, which means I Googled some shit. I looked up to see what Spotify does to count streams. Now, I found a couple articles really aimed towards people who are independent artists, but what I found out is Spotify has their own system where they count the streams, they're supposed to filter out bots or other things that look fake to give us a real number of what the streams are. So I'm like, okay, they do everything in-house, they don't do anything third party. That makes a lot of sense. They're a big corporation. They're supposed to be able to have stuff in-house like that. But then I went back to that tweet because I felt like something wasn't right. And I remembered Spotify said that we manually counted the streams. For anybody who's from Spotify that's watching this video, how the fuck do you manually count a stream? How? So I went back to do some more poor man's research and found nothing. I seen no article. I seen no definition. I seen nothing to tell me what it means to manually count a stream, which means maybe it's warranted that these people are talking shit. because you guys really didn't explain what manually counting streams mean. Now, far be it from me to be able to talk shit about a corporation, but you guys really do need to clarify what that means, because y'all are really making this boy look bad by saying some shit like that. So me being who I am, I thought, well, maybe this has a lot to do with UMG. Maybe UMG is trying to knock him down a peg. For those who don't know, UMG has been striking down anything related to Iceman as far as the videos are concerned. Like anything you put up, they're striking it, they're taking it down, all of this stuff. People have been reposting videos, and all of the fan pages have been reposting videos. Like, it's been crazy out here when it comes to that. Now, nobody knows why UMG is doing this. A lot of people are saying that they're trying to go against Drake or try to make him look bad. But when you think about it, even though they're striking down videos, that wouldn't mean that they would try to sabotage this man's first week sales, right? I look at it from a standpoint of he dropped these albums to be able to satisfy something contractually with UMG. If the first week numbers look good, UMG looks good, right? He's still under contract regardless. I don't know, or I don't think that UMG would do anything to try to sabotage his first week. That would just sound stupid and asinine. Why would you want to kill somebody's sales when at the end of the day, most of the money's going back into your pocket and he's fulfilling what he's supposed to be fulfilling? So that conspiracy theory was really on me. I was trying to look at it as UMG trying to sabotage him, but once I did the math, it doesn't make a lot of sense. What I do have a question about is, what did Drake do so wrong to make people hate him so much? At the end of the day, a lot of this just comes down to people don't like Drake for one reason or the other, but it doesn't have anything to do with music. That's what I figured. People look at this guy and just like, he's a nerd or he's a dork. How did he make it this far? Y'all are hating really, really hard, bro. Whether you like the album or not, you shouldn't be mad at Drake if the numbers are looking false. You should be looking at UMG. Let's have an honest truth right now. Labels use bots. It's industry practice. A lot of execs are going to lie to you and say that they don't, but it's truthfully they do for all major artists. 3 reasons why: push the artist, push the album, save their jobs. If you have a major artist with a nice contract, you have to make sure that this guy is everywhere. So bots are a necessary evil for people to be able to justify the sales, justify the contracts, all of that shit. I'm just saying label execs are not going to say that because they don't want to look like scumbags or slimy bastards. It's all about keeping their job and making sure everything is what it is. Just because Drake is the biggest in the world doesn't mean he's the only person that's using these type of tactics, or the label's not the only label that's using these type of tactics. We kind of have to readjust and understand that there's a lot of information out here that'll tell us what all of these labels are doing. We just have to kind of use the internet to help us figure this shit out. But I'm not going to sit up here and crucify Drake because bots might have helped him get to a certain number, because I just know it's industry standard. Period, point blank. So I feel like the hate that people are giving Drake right now is unwarranted because the album is so successful and it might not be the best in the world. What do you guys think, man? Do you think that these numbers were padded? Do you think Drake did lower than what they're showing us? Do you think Drake deserves to get hated on so much? I would really like to hear what you guys have to say in the comments. Let me know down below. JID went on a bit of a rant this past week on Twitter, and I gotta tell you, he ain't playing with y'all no more. The BET Awards just announced their nominees, and JID wasn't really feeling what the nominees was looking like. Here's what he said on Twitter. I hate BET. 5 Grammy nominations, 0 BET nominations, acknowledgement nothing. Niggas remix the same people every year at BET Awards. So it looks like he's not really rocking with BET right now. And I went to go look at the nominations. I can see where he could be upset. Them nominations look like it's back in like 2022 right now. They haven't changed the name since. It looks bad. They really look out of touch with their nominations, for real. And I understand the frustration. You can get nominated for an award by the white people with the Grammys, but you can't get nominated with the black folks. Where's the equality at? Where's the justice? So I can see his frustration, for real. I understand where you're coming from. He had a fan reply to that tweet with the J. Cole bar. This is what he said about that J. Cole line. Nigga ain't say shit. I've been overly platinum. That bar was ass. Let's just say I don't disagree with him about the J. Cole bar. I don't even want to get into the J. Cole conversation right now. Y'all know how I feel about him this year. But the question surrounding this whole thing is, does JID have the status to be talking like this on the internet? No, he doesn't. Plain looking you in the face, you don't. You got your first Grammy nomination last year with God Does Like Ugly. You debuted back in 2017. Now, next year will be 10 years in the game, right? You still got a lot of work to do, brother. And that's no slight against you, and that's not saying that you trash. I think the industry didn't give a fuck about you until you actually dropped Forever Story. I've listened to the mixtapes. I know what you can do. I'm from the South. I understand that he can rap his ass off with the best of them. I remember the feature run he went on in 2024 and 2023. I know what he can do, but you're not an industry darling yet, buddy. Slow your roll. You got one Grammy nomination, and that's not easy to come by. I know it took a lot of hard work to get there, but you have to understand this too. What? Your best debut was number 11 on Billboard. That's great. That's wonderful. You did 60K your first week. I love it. You putting up the stats. But people don't know you. And that's, again, no slight to you. You really just got yourself out here recently. The Eminem Fuel verse, that put you over the top. That's one of the best verses of that year. Then you look at the verse you did on Bodies. Like, you have a nice feature run. You have a lot of different things there. The problem is you hadn't done enough yet. Still got a lot of work to do. I know I sound like a broken record, but it's the truth. JID is one of the best rappers out there. But do I see myself paying for a ticket because he's that big of a star? I would, but that doesn't mean the person next to me would. A lot of people still don't know you, bro, or just met you your last album. So getting on the internet being hella spicy about a BET award of all things don't look too good to me. If anything, you should have got on Twitter and talked shit about the Grammys because you felt like you deserved that Grammy. Right? Let's keep it all the way real right now. If you want to be mad at the major award. Don't give a fuck about the BET awards, because let's be honest. BET ain't been relevant in a very long time. When Rap City got canceled, their hip-hop credibility went out the window. Argue with your mama. They're not worth your time. You know what's worth your time? Working on another album. The only way people are going to respect what you say is when you put out the music to prove that you that nigga. That's it. That's all it is at the end of the day, bro. You got to have discography. You got to have the work. It's good to have a number 11 debut, but it's even better to have a number 1 debut. And you can do it. That's the thing. I think you understand the formula right now. I think you get it. But don't get on the internet showing your ass over BET. That's stupid. That is stupid. BET awards don't get no respect. Grammys get respect. Number 1 albums get respect. Catalogs get respect. You need to put together a catalog, brother. You need to get more Grammy nominations. You need to win a Grammy. And then you can get on the internet and say whatever the fuck you want. Throw your dick on the table if you want to. But don't get out here with your pants down, sitting up here talking shit about a BET award. That's trash, my nigga. You bigger and better than that. Or you should think that. I just don't think that BET has the credibility anymore when it comes to the black community, music, hip-hop, or any of that shit. They're a corporation because they're trying to keep the lights on right now. Them niggas don't really have a home for real. So at the end of the day, why should we care if you got a BET award or not? I care about you getting that Grammy. I care about you getting that #1 album. I care about the world knowing who you are. I'm not saying that you're not international, because I remember when you performed in London and it was a packed house, but that wasn't the O2. That wasn't the O2, brother. We got to get there. So at the end of the day, JID, I love you. I think you're one of the best rappers we've seen in a very long time, but you don't have the cachet to sit up here and be talking spicy like that. I do respect the fact that you called J. Cole's line trash. I love that, because that nigga been lying for a very long time. But outside of that, getting mad and talking spicy on the internet because BET didn't want to acknowledge you, it's bullshit, bro. Sit that to the side. But the fans, we love you. And that's all that matters at the end of the day, right? No award can take the place of the fans being in your corner. Get off your ass. Get off of Twitter. Get a new album done. Make it go #1. Let's start talking after that. Right? That's all I got for y'all this week, man. I'm glad you guys joined me for another episode. Thank you for supporting me. I will be dropping the Iceman review on Friday. I'm just taking a little bit more time to listen to this album and make sure I get my review correct. So it will be dropping on Friday. If you like what I do, because what I do is not very easy, make sure you guys pay me in a like, pay me in a comment, support me with a subscription. Make my platform bigger than the sun. I appreciate you guys for joining me for another episode. I will catch you on Friday. I love you. Peace out.
She is kind of fucking with my money, but I meant everything I said, and I say it again.